98 Not Out, sponsored by Shepherd Neame, proud supporters of cricket in Essex.
Yeah, keen somewhere only we know. So a big hello to Essex head coach Anthony McGrath. Mags, how are you?
Very well, thank you, Brett. Good evening.
How are you coping with the lockdown, mate?
Yeah, just like everyone, really. Just getting on as best you can, following the rules, and just keeping progress of what's going on everywhere. And hopefully, there'll be some form of normality. Hopefully, just around the corner.
Mags, just Darren. Whereabouts are you?
I'm actually up in Yorkshire. We came back from pre-season tour, and I were always going to come up here for a week to see the family before the season. And of course, after we got back, lockdown happened, so I pretty much haven't moved from the house. So I'm looking forward to get back down to Chelmsford as soon as it's possible.
But you aren't furloughed, are you? You're still working and you're still sort of staying in contact with what's going on?
Yeah, that's right. There's only a couple of us because there's calls most days, either going into the PCA, other coaches, ECB, and also internally with the club. I were kept on, so it's been fairly busy during the days, I must admit.
So obviously we're all waiting on ECB recommendations, etc. Do you obviously you've got a bit. Do you think we're going to see some kind of domestic cricket, or are we getting to the point where, unless it starts getting lifted quite soon, we could be looking at just the international stuff?
I'm hoping so. Yeah, I'm certainly a bit more positive than I was 3-4 weeks ago. I think the plans are in place now for England to come back. I think if that goes well, and the virus keeps and the rates keep going down, I'm hoping we might get some cricket later on in the summer. But I think a lot depends on how England go, how other sports go when they come back. We've still got a little bit of time, but the longer we lose, I can't see a hell of a lot of cricket being played. But I'm hopeful. July, August, September, we might get at least something.
Has Essex had a kind of a monitoring programme of all the first team players, or maybe even the wider squad of their health and whether they're displaying symptoms or anything like that? Has there been any?
Yeah. So what we did when we came back from tour, everyone got an individual programme, and then everyone were in touch with Chris Clark-Hines, our physio, with the doctor as well. When the guys went on furlough, obviously they're not working, so we just for everyone's health and well-being, they've had lines into the psychologist, to the PCA, and we've just been checking up on guys most days actually, and weekly, just to check everyone's okay. So touch wood, at the moment everyone's absolutely fine. Everyone's still in good spirits. Of course, everyone's very frustrated because given the weather we've had, it's pretty much sod's law that we probably wouldn't have had a day rained off at the moment.
Yeah. So, and you know what happens if we do start?
I know, exactly. You can see it coming, can't you? But, it's just a shame for everyone, not just players, supporters, members, everyone who loves cricket. The winters are so long in England. You're just so looking forward to the summer months. But, as I said earlier, I'm hopeful we'll get a bit towards the back end. How that will look, I'm not sure what the schedules will be as yet, but I'm hoping we can get a couple of months. And there has been talk of maybe going into October, if the weather's okay. So there's still a bit of positivity out there.
That's good. In terms of getting the guys sort of back match fit, do you have a sort of, how long do you think it would take? 2-4 weeks? Would they need?
Yeah,
they need to get some bowling and batting in them, aren't they?
Yeah, that's right. They're doing the best in terms of the physical fitness. With restrictions being eased now a little bit, they can go for a little bit further of run. We've been dropping off gym equipment at people's houses, so hopefully physically they won't be too bad. But as you rightly say, Brett, it's more the skills, and bowling and batting is completely different than running and doing gym stuff. So I think around 4 weeks. Individuals might be different, but I think if they can give us, for at least 3 weeks, we can get the guys ready to play. And again, it depends on the schedule because, if there's not a full summer, which is really tough on the body, if it is just a few championship games and T20, then you don't need that kind of level of fitness for the 6 months. It might only be a 2-month period, so therefore it might not take as long as getting the guys back.
So let's talk a little bit about coaching. You sort of, I think was it 2012 you retired, and then a few years before you really got into coaching. Was that just doing your badges, or?
Yeah, I mean, towards the end of my career, I did get involved a little bit while I was still playing with the younger guys coming through. We had Joe Root, Johnny Bairstow, Gary Balance.
What became of those lads?
Yeah, nothing to do with me. But no, but them guys were coming through, and with me being a batter, really, I kind of, did a little bit of work in the nets along with the other coaches. But I kind of got an interest there, kind of later in my career. But I always wanted to kind of take a year out of cricket just to really take stock and have a look where, the rest of my career were going to go. So I did a little bit of media stuff. I did a little bit of corporate stuff around the boxes at games and things like that. And then kind of 12, 18 months, I got a call from Yorkshire just asking to come back in the winters and work with the younger guys. So it kind of started from there and building up the badges. And I think it were about 2013-ish, end of 13, 14. I started, coming back in more and more.
And then you came down to Essex and was working with Chris Silverwood.
Yeah, I mean, before the 2016 season, that winter really, I think around January time, I got a call from Silvers, and he said they might be looking for a batting coach. Are you interested in putting your name in the hat and coming for an interview? So that's how it started. I always thought to myself, if I wanted to be a coach, I had to get kind of away from Yorkshire, because that's the only county I'd known and only system I'd seen. So to broaden my outlook, really, I was keen to have another challenge. So when the Essex opportunity came up, I jumped at it really, and luckily got through the interview process, and from March that year joined up with the lads on pre-season tour, and it's been fantastic, I must admit. Since, it was a brilliant timing, I think, is everything. But
absolutely. How does it feel to be a double winning coach?
No, I mean, it's you get a lot of time with what's happening in lockdown. So I'm watching a lot of videos, a lot of games we played last season, and the memories are, even though it's a short time away, it's just fantastic, really, to be part of that. And going back to 2016, it has really been a bit like a dream since I walked in the place. I've really, enjoyed it. It felt like home. I mean, I know it's a bit of a cliche, but it really did. The people welcomed me, and I really enjoyed being in and around Chelmsford, and the run the team's been on since 2016.
Incredible.
You look back now and you just almost pinch yourself, because it's just been success after success, and to be part of that, and because cricket, as you two well know, it's constant, and you don't really get time to reflect, but we have done in this last couple of months. And looking back since the 5 years I've been there, it has been just incredible, really.
Who was the biggest influences on how you coach, or who have you taken bits from?
I think a couple of people, really. Darren Lehman, definitely, from his playing days at Yorkshire, and then he went into coaching in the IPL in Australia. So I had quite a lot of chats with him, and his kind of style resonated with me, really. Kevin Sharp, who I worked with at Yorkshire, is now director of cricket at Worcester. His kind of style was he did look at the technical side of things, but a very good man manager. He got to know individuals inside out. He wanted to know what make them, tick on a daily basis. He got to know the friends and family, and I think that's kind of the route I went down as a coach. Of course, you've got to keep your knowledge as high as possible, because the game's changing all the time. But I think the personal skills, really, with players, certainly from Darren and Kevin, that's something I followed up when I went into coaching myself.
I think we've felt that from talking to current and sort of former players at the club, that the man management aspect has been one of the, I'm not the sole game changer, but one of the big game changers at the club. And the level of success has kind of been a reflection on your and Chris Silverwood's ability in man managing players and understanding how to get the best out of them.
Yeah, well, I mean, Chris, when I came down to Essex, he kind of set a vision out of how he saw, the players at Essex and how he wanted to take it forward, and we're pretty, united in that kind of vision and about how to take it forward. But it's not just Silvers or myself. Barry Irons there. We've had Dimmy Mascarenas, Tom Huggins, Andre Nell. The S&Cs and physios. Everyone in that backroom staff, plays a huge role. And of course, it's okay having that, but the players have got to buy into it and take that on. And you two know the players well as well. And without them, you don't have a successful team. It's not just the consistency they have to put in training and games, but they've got to put in some sacrifices, and they're away from the families a lot. And I think we've been blessed with a very good group of players over this last few years who've taken it to another level, really.
And of course, we should really mention the good work done by the chairman, the CEO, and the committee as well. Yeah,
of course. Yeah, I mean, I know Chris felt, as I did, very lucky to be given the chance after Chris left. They really had no hesitation in giving me a chance, even though I'd not been a head coach before. But the whole cricket advisory and committee are superb. I know that Essex get labelled a smaller club by some people, but if you look at the history of Essex, you look at the size of Essex, you look at the cricket played in Essex, the trophies they've won, the players they bring through, it's not just happened the last few years, it's been happening a long time, and it takes a long time to sow those seeds, and I think Essex are up there with one of the best clubs in the country in terms of putting everything in what I've just mentioned, and a lot of that goes down to the management off the field. I think so really good people involved.
I think since 1979, no other county has won any more trophies than Essex.
No.
Yeah, exactly. So, we know that we've not got, the biggest ground or the best ground facility-wise, and of course we're not going to compete probably financially with test grounds, but if, as you mentioned there, since 1979 the trophies won, the players come through, and of course you look at the current squad, how many players have come through the system and continue to do so, and that's a huge feather in the cap, not just for Essex cricket but the whole community and
the steady stream of England captains as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it is really, you do look at it, and I'm fortunate to be part of it, and I understand Essex more now we've been around, but if you look back through history, it is incredible really what Essex have achieved, and hopefully we don't want to sit here saying how good we are. We want to try and continue this and keep it going and keep improving, and that's why a lot of the hard work's going in through the academy, through the age group, to keep producing the young players, like your Aaron Beards, Sam Cooks, Benny Allisons. I can go on. We want to keep producing these guys and getting them in the first team.
And there should be a couple more coming through if we play this year as well, because it looks like there'll be no overseas, will there, if we do play? I
can't see it, no, unless something drastically changes. But again, I think that's exciting, and I think we've got the squad to cope. We said beginning of last year, I thought we could go for all three trophies, and I believe with the squad we've got this year, retaining everyone and bringing a couple of youngsters up onto full contracts, we can continue that. So, as you rightly say, with probably no overseas players, that'll give a spot to 2-3 other guys who might not have got the chance. So again, I think that's why everyone's, especially the younger guys, are chomping at the bit for us to start again.
There's a 15-year-old charging around my garden putting the yards in. I'll give you a clue.
Yeah, well, it's great. I mean, and I think also what is good is because of the success of the last few years, and because it's been made up of young Essex guys. I think guys just below, either professional squads, they see a route in, and they think that, only a couple of years ago I was playing with that guy, or played with him at club cricket, and it's amazing how quickly things change. So, the younger guys, I see them in the winters. The talent's just unbelievable. So it's just about, getting your chance and having that bit of luck. But we are blessed with the talent pool we've got at Essex.
I think a sort of key person would be That would be Aaron Nidger, wouldn't he? Who last year, didn't play much at all, and suddenly there you go, finals day,
my God.
You're playing, mate.
Well, he picked two decent days, didn't he? The finals day, and then at Taunton as well.
Yeah.
For the championship.
But it's great.
No, I mean,
go on.
Aaron, we chatted halfway through the season, and I could feel his frustration, because he's at an age now where he believes he's good enough to play, and we know that. But with a certain Simon Armour playing 4-day cricket, it's very difficult if you don't play two spinners. And of course, we've used Adam Zampa as a leg spinner as well. But the message to Aaron is just keep doing your stuff and take your chance. And boy, did he take his chance when he got it in the T20 final, and he obviously played a role down at Taunton that last day. So
those days at Taunton and Edgbaston proved, if people didn't already know it, the fantastic relationship that the players and the coaching staff have got with the supporters, and particularly the youngsters. Everyone seems to have time to sign an autograph, to shake hands, maybe a quick word or something after a game. And I think things like that go a long, long way. I mean, I think we all know of other cricketers, maybe at other counties, who just have no time for anyone. But at Essex, and I don't even think that it's something that's necessarily drilled into people. It's just part of the culture at the club, that there is this relationship between players and fans. And I think that's what spurs the youngsters on.
Yeah, without doubt. And I think, going back to having homegrown players, they have a connection with supporters. They'll know them from the local clubs. They get, the area, they know everything about, the ground and what's happened in the past. So, they are, emotionally involved with supporters and fans. And when they win or lose, you take it home with you. And I think certain other clubs, and it's not by design sometimes, but when you bring a lot of people from the outside, you only see it as a job, and you don't have that connection with the local community and fans. Whereas we're lucky with that, because I think 17 out of the 22 squad have come through the system.
Yeah.
I think 7 were born in the same hospital, so everyone knows about the local area, and they're determined to do well for the club. It's their own club, it's where they've grown up, so you're going to have that connection.
I think I've said it before on this show that people, when they get access back to the ground, should go into the indoor school and look at the academy honours board that's up there, and look back a few years and just see some of the names that are etched on that board as sort of young 15, 16-year-olds that were making their name at the time. I mean, there's a certain A.N. Cook up there, isn't there?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's amazing to see it, and I think we should make more of that. At the club, I know that there's plans in place. Hopefully, when we get back to upgrade the ground and facilities, and you go to some other grounds, and you can see their history around the ground, and naming stands after players and pictures around. So, we've a lot to show off about the local players that have come through.
Definitely.
So. You're saying that in the indoor school, but I think there's plans to really put it round the ground and show off the history of the club. But it's not just the players who've played for Essex. You look at some of the names on them boards that have gone on, to other clubs, which again shows the strength of the talent pool we were talking about earlier.
Mags, what's the best thing about being a coach?
I think seeing someone do really well when the hard work they've put in, and that a lot of the time there's a lot of low days at cricket, but when it clicks, because we always bang on in after-match press conferences or interviews about the guys are doing it in training, but they're not just transferring it to the game day, but when that actually clicks and someone puts in a performance, and the smile and the hard work's paid off, I think that gives you a lot of satisfaction. So someone like an Aaron Nidger, when you see him get wickets on finals day, you see Aaron Beard, who's waited for a chance, come in and get wickets against Somerset and wickets at Trent Bridge. They're the days as a coach which you can sit back and really smile. So I think, the individual performances of people who've worked hard give you, a lot of satisfaction.
Before you go, I just wanted to highlight that ECB video has come out today, and Essex are featured in it with all the good work they've been doing with helping the vulnerable in conjunction with supporting humanity, and obviously the cricket and the community scheme that Essex are doing. But I just wanted to sort of highlight to people listening that it's not just through the pandemic that Essex have been helping people. Now, Brett and I came with you and a few of the players to Broomfield Hospital at Christmas time to see some of the children that are in there. But that's something that you do every year, and Essex have always been good at giving back. And it's not just with all what's going on now. Again, that's another part of the club which is so fantastic and ingrained that helping out and giving back is a big part, and you all should be congratulated on that.
Yeah, it is, and it's not something hard to do. I think that the behind the scenes, the guys in the office and girls in the office work really hard, to get that connection with sponsors and local businesses, and you mentioned the hospitals there. So I think the players and coaches are more than happy to help. We know we get some great support. So when there is days off and in the winter, it's not a problem to help out. And I think, again, it shows what a good group of players we have, and good people, not just players who are happy to give up the time. So, hopefully long may that continue. Even
the great man, Mr. Gooch, is there helping out, isn't he?
Oh, Gooch, yeah. I mean, Graham's fantastic. He, he's always at sponsors' event. He's always at the games. He's always helping raising money for the academy. You don't need me to tell you he's Essex through and through. He absolutely loves the club. Every time you speak to him, he's always talking about Essex first before he mentions anything about England. So to have someone like him, Keith Fletcher, David Ackfield, Ronnie Irani, to be around the guys, and it can only help.
Mags, thanks for joining us. Thanks for taking time out of your day.
No problem.
And hopefully we'll see you very, very soon and have a real beer and have a proper catch-up.
I know, I will. It'll be nice to actually see people over Zoom or the various things we've been doing. So to actually have a conversation face-to-face will be great.
Might not recognise a few of them after their haircut or so.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Mags, thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, guys.
Cheers.
Well done.
Thanks.
Cheers. Speak
Bye.
soon. Bye-bye.